you stop procrastination. Find something that matters more than your excuses. Think about the thing that you are always procrastinating on. Now think about someone that you love and a gun being held to their head. And to save them, all you have to do is the one thing that you have been procrastinating on. I bet you are not procrastinating anymore. If you have a strong enough reason to get it done, you will get it done. Don't be fooled by the product pushers who are only in business to sell you the next best thing in a box. Don't be fooled anymore. You go see them work their magic on a stage, selling you their new best thing that it's all the rage. Don't believe the lies of quick success, that you can make a bunch of money in 30 days or less. Don't believe that without them, you will never make it and be like the rest. It's time to stop believing in them and start believing that you are the best. I believe in you. Do you believe in you? Believe in yourself. Stop only thinking about making offers. Stop watching late night webinars and prepare your offers. If you are not making offers, you are not making money. You have to do what most people don't want to do. Face what they don't want to face. Find that reason. Live for that reason. Do not stop until you get what you want. You know why you're doing this. You can't let anyone stop you from doing this. The storm can come into your life faster than you expect. Are you ready for it? Will you go into the storm of business, or will you sit in your comfy chair at home where it's safe? If you are not emotionally strong, if you don't have a big reason why, then you won't defeat the storm. You must not give up. You can't give up. You only have one life, so live it. Enough is enough. It's time to set your score. Enough is enough. It's time to take what's rightfully yours. Enough is enough. Your time is now. It's time for action from the inside out. Live fearless.
It's tough to wear these masks because it always gets the fog going. But can you believe it? They threw away my mask yesterday and they ended up giving me this one, which is fine, but we're only supposed to have this mask for about, I think it's like 4 or 5 hours or daily use, and then we gotta ditch it and then get another one. Man, whoever's in the mask business right now is crushing it. I'll tell you that much. They are just crushing it. I had another mask that was like an industrial mask, but when I went to the hospital yesterday with my son, they took me through this triage, COVID, whole shenanigan. Well, okay, I can't knock it. I mean, of course, I'm sure, there's people with with COVID and stuff like that, but it was just like this huge, I should have took video of it and I could have showed you, but I kind of felt like it would be like TSA. You ever filmed a video at the airport and you start filming TSA and all of a sudden they come and want you to delete their videos? Yeah, I figured something like that would happen. Anyway, when I was there was this huge tent. There was like 3 of them, and you had to go into the tents first, and they ask you about 10 different questions and all this stuff prior to going into the hospital. So it was in that I thought they were gonna check me for COVID. That's what I thought was gonna happen because they had all these machines and alcohol. I had to wash my hands with alcohol, whatever solution for like 3 times. Yeah, let's just say it was over the top. That's for sure. Definitely over the top. So anyway, that's the process is. And then after I was done with that screening, they gave me a stamp, which you can't really see anymore because it came off. And I said, "Oh yeah, look, I'm COVID free." That must be the first sign, right? Is you just start getting stamps. I think that's the first good step in a new future in the world. So anyway, I welcome to Crushing COVID Daily. I am your host for the next whatever. How many more days do we got? This goes until this show goes until May 30th, the end of the month here, and it's specifically to give you some tips, strategies, and ideas, but most importantly, give you clarity and help you build confidence along the way as you build your real estate investing business. So I'm your host, and I'm also the creator and the founder of Fearless Millionaire. It's the #1 place for real estate investors to gain more clarity, confidence, and cash flow, to help real estate investors who may be wondering and disillusioned or lost. They're feeling lost, and they have all these different trainings, and they've been to seminar after seminar and webinar after webinar and still don't have the success or the results they're looking for. That's what Fearless Millionaire is about, and we help people create clarity in what strategy to go in. And the best part is we build confidence and get cash flow. That means our clients get cash. They close deals and make money, which is fantastic. It's a great experience. It's something I've always enjoyed in part of that process. So one of the a little bit of sound effects today. I'm gonna get a little bit more heavy on you guys with the sound effects. No, I will tell you this though. Today I was a little all over the place with what I was gonna come on to you today because the past few days have been a little bit up and down. Haven't slept much, and trying to take care of family and home. So that's been something big. And I said to myself, I have a list of things, not only just requests, but also topics that people that I want to share with you, but also topics that people are looking for answers to. Like we did just the other day was some mistakes to avoid and how to legally set up a company. We talked about short-term rentals and so much more. And by the way, if there's a specific topic that you want me to cover, post it in the comments. And while you're at it, by the way, if you're new to the Crushing COVID show, or then what I'd encourage you to do is just say hello, and you can put in the comments, put new, just type in new in the comment section. That way I can say, hey, how's it going to you? I'd love to say hello. And also, if you've been following us for a while, that's fine too. You can say, you can like the video or say, hey, what's going on? The first thing I want to do today before I get into today's topic, and today's topic is going to be about what is a pitch deck and how can you use it in your real estate investing business. But before I get into that, I want to cover and say thank you to a whole bunch of people. I really do. So yesterday when I was telling you guys that I canceled yesterday's show because of my son being in the hospital, I literally got a flood of comments from social media, from Facebook, from YouTube, and emails and private messages. And so thank you. I really appreciate that. So I wanted to thank a bunch of people. That's really what I want to do. Yeah, I know. You got to bear with me because I figured I'd do it now. It's probably the best time since you're probably watching. So first of all, on the top, I want to thank Barb. That's what I call you. I call you Barb. Even though you have a very long Barb and Lindsay name, right? I want to thank Barb for reaching out and your thoughts. I appreciate that. Sarah, you've been a dear friend. Your family has been a dear friend for years, and I appreciate who you are, your care, your heart, and how you are always, you're sensitive to these kinds of things. I don't mean sensitive in a soft way. I mean like you like spiritually connect with these kind of things. So I appreciate all that you've done and been a part of our family. I really do. Jason, I appreciate you as well. Thanks so much for for your comment. I really appreciate that. And let's see, David Kanji. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. And it's kind of interesting, David. I miss you, man. I really do. It's been I miss you, man. It's been a few months. It's been what, I think a year since we've met in person, right? I think the last time we met was at the shopping mall. We ran into each other, right? At my office. Hope you're doing well. Thanks so much for your comments. Christy Dyer, thank you so much. Christy, I miss you and your daughters so much. I hope to see you in the future. Hopefully it's in a different environment than a live event. And we should see each other outside of that. Now that you're retired and making money in real estate, feel free to let me know, because I have a destination that I think you would enjoy and love, and it'd be great to meet you there. Allison, oh man, goodness, it's so great to hear from you. It's been a few years. I miss you, and I think you're having some kids of your own now. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Let's see, Rochelle. I have to leave a comment here for Rochelle. Rochelle is probably one of the first strangers that believed in me. And I say that with love, because Rochelle, I remember, she remembers this too. The first time we met, I think it's something we'll never forget. I went into this, I was all dressed up in a suit, and I had my beat up 1989 Corolla, and I was all dressed up in a suit, and I was going door to door to all the best real estate agents, at least at the time that I thought they were the best. And I walked into this office, and Rochelle was there. And honestly, I can't even remember what position Rochelle was in, but I just remember her desk and where she was. And she's the one, let's call her the gatekeeper at this point. She wasn't a receptionist. I think she was a loan officer. I just can't remember off the top of my head. No, agent, sorry. Real estate agent, sorry. It's all coming back to me now. Anyway, positions. And I remember when I walked in, and she told me to sit down on the side, and she started asking me these questions like, oh, who are you? What do you do? And all that. And she was actually prepping me for the boss. She's like, okay, well, he's this and he's that. He's a nice guy, but, and she was kind of giving me advice. And Rochelle and I have been good friends for a long time. And she believed in me. She saw something in me before I even knew those things, and she's just a great person. Rochelle, thank you for always keeping us in your prayers. I really appreciate that. My cousin Rebecca, thank you so much. He is doing fine. And Vamsi, yes, thank you. He is getting better. Oh, Mrs. DeMello, thank you so much. Thank you for your prayers. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Simon, thank you so much. Praying for Sudanish. Thank you, boss. I appreciate your comments so much. That really means a lot. I thank you so much for that. Jesse, one of my newer business partners and friends, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And looking forward to our podcast. I think it's on Friday, right? We're doing that interview. Let me prepare for that. Maria Pacheco. Oh, goodness. It's been so long since we've seen each other. Oh, man. But I still remember those days. Remember those days where we would meet at my office in Somerset? Oh, my goodness. Oh, man. I'll never forget the first time we met, by the way. I'll never forget it, because out of all the years I've been in the seminar education industry, this is way back when I was, I think when I first started my consulting business, Zach Childress had hired me. I think this was the fifth or fourth time he had hired me to help him build his business. And I was helping him build one of his live events. And guys, I've done hundreds, thousands probably of these seminars. Okay. Maybe it's like 800 seminars. Okay. And I've either trained people at these seminars. I've either spoke at these seminars. I mean, guys, hotel conference rooms was my previous life. And I'll never forget this, because I was at Zach Childress' event and I was helping him build out his sales team there. And Maria and her son, Tim, came, I don't know if it was to a table. I think it was the registration table. That's what it was. And I saw their name tag and it said Fall River, Massachusetts. And I said, what? And by the way, this event was in like Florida or something, or Colorado. I can't even remember. And I was like, wait, what? How are you from Fall River, Massachusetts? Like, it's like Nazareth. What good can come from Fall River, Nazareth? You know? But seriously, Maria and Tim are just awesome people, mother and son. And I continually got to know them over the years, and just great people and a great heart. Thank you so much for your prayers. I appreciate that. Paul, gosh, it's almost, I always thought growing up, I think we were like family. We were like so close. And you've always been the funniest contractor I've ever known. Like, you're just a funny guy. I remember just recently when it was like snowing out, right? And you were building this house, and oh man, you're just full of jokes. One of the best things I like about you, Paul, is you're not afraid to try new things. And guys, if you ever want to check out, I know I'm just kind of shouting this out, like everyone's like, who's Paul Soares? But Paul, what I've always really liked about you is that you video your builds, your rehabs. I always love that. Like you weren't afraid of the camera, and you actually got out there. So I really appreciate that. All right, so I'm going to go through these a little bit more because I know I could probably be here all day saying thank you. But Melanie Wright, thank you so much. We miss you. We can't wait to get back out there to Utah. Thank you so much. I'll never forget our times, not only in our home in South Carolina, but also in Utah. That was so much fun, and it was so great to reconnect with you. We miss you, and congratulations on all your babies. Christine, thank you so much. I appreciate your prayers. Joanne, thank you so much. I appreciate your thoughts. We miss you very much. Miss your energy so much. My cousin Sandy, thank you so much. He is getting better. Thank you for your cares. Paul Kirch, I think I still owe you a dinner. Thanks so much, buddy. I appreciate it. Wanjuma, I'm glad we're still chatting. I'm glad we're still friends. Julie, my sister, thank you so much. I appreciate you. We miss you. We miss being home in Uganda. Thank you so much. Sarah, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate your prayers. Check your email, by the way. I just sent you an email. And I know I have a few more to get to you. Kimberly. Oh, let me just spend a minute here on Kimberly because, my God. Kimberly, do you remember our conversations? I'm sure you do. I want to tell you something. You know how I mentioned earlier about, what do you call it? Rochelle. I was telling you about Rochelle, how she saw something in me, right? Remember that? And I was a mortgage broker at the time. Well, Kimberly Diamond, okay? And I've always loved her name, Diamond. I'm like, that's so cool. But Kimberly Diamond believed in me when I first started working at Dave Lindahl's office. Dave Lindahl used to be my old boss that I used to work for. He owns over 8,000 apartment units. And she worked for the organization. And she just saw my drive and motivation and what I was trying to do in life. And it was so cool. She was like, she believed in me. And I think that's like one of the most powerful gifts someone can give to someone else. That's the powerful gift you've given me, Kimberly, and I really appreciate that. And you've actually taught me to do that with others and how to believe in them. So you taught me probably one of the most powerful things, because not only were we co-working mates and stuff, but you taught me something that, no gift could, physical gift could ever match. And that's believing in someone. And thank you for that, because you really helped me to propel and see myself as bigger than I saw myself at that time. And I really appreciate that. You helped me launch. You believed in me so much. You helped me launch my consulting company. So I really appreciate that. Tom Kerr, thank you so much for your prayers. I appreciate that. Gary Zaidman, thank you so much. The uncle that's going to buy my kids their Lambos. Thank you so much. Matovo, my brother-in-law, thank you, Matovo. I appreciate you. Ronnie, thank you so much for sending prayers. I appreciate it. Jen Conkey, thank you so much, dear. I appreciate it. Let me on the lookout. I'm having messages coming your way. Peter Foster, man, it's been a long time. Thank you so much for your prayers. I really appreciate that. Jenny, good to see you here. Thank you so much. And yes, he's getting better. Brian Mitchell, thank you so much, my friend. Thank you. Hope you're doing well. Robert Drace, thank you so much. I appreciate your comments. Thank you. Yes. Ram, yes, man, it's been a long time. Been a minute. Thank you so much for the prayers. I appreciate that. Rose, thank you so much, Rose. I appreciate you. And Esther, thank you so much, Esther, my sister. Thank you. Corey Boatwright, thank you so much, man. I appreciate your thoughts and your prayers, and I know you truly mean it. Thank you so much. We should reconnect sometime real soon. That'd be great. Pastor Gabe, thank you so much. I appreciate that, and I believe it. By the way, thank you, Pastor Gabe, for praying over my son that day. I really appreciate that. That was, it meant a lot to us. Thank you. Seth Williams, my buddy Seth Williams. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Our podcast is getting a lot of reviews, a lot of views and reviews. Thanks. Good stuff. I just did a podcast. I did a podcast with Seth a year ago, and Seth just interviewed me on his podcast and how I invest remotely from Portugal and Uganda. And if you want to check that out, go check out his website, retipster.com. So if you're into that, you can check out his podcast. It's on his podcast. Cindy, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for that. Crystal, thank you so much. I appreciate that very much. And Kaisha, thank you so much, Kaisha. I really appreciate your comments as well. And I know there's a bunch of other people that have sent comments and requests. I really appreciate that. This journey has not been easy. It has had a lot of sleepless nights. And a lot of, challenges along the way, but, we believe for good things, we hope for good things, and we continue to move forward. So anyway, guys, I really appreciate every comment. I appreciate you, sending your thoughts and all that and your prayers. I really appreciate that. And so that was, the main reason coming into canceling yesterday's show into today. I kind of feel like I'm a little all over the place, but yet there's something that I do want to share with you today about real estate investing, something that's very important. I want to share with you a very powerful, most important thing in real estate investing, which is not really talked about that much. I think it's because a lot of people have to scale themselves up to get there. But today I'm going to talk to you a little about what a pitch deck is, and it's basically about funding real estate. First of all, before I jump into this, I want to tell you something that's really important. Maybe you've thought about real estate investing. Maybe you thought about getting started buying real estate. Maybe you've read articles, watched videos on YouTube, whatever it is, right? Whatever you've done about real estate investing, I want to tell you this. It's kind of like a myth buster. Most people think they need to have all this money to get into real estate. Most people think they need to become a real estate agent to get into real estate. Most people think they need to get an inheritance. They need to sell their own home. They need to have good credit. They need to go to school and get a degree. There's all these kinds of thoughts and misconceptions about getting started in real estate. And guys, I used to have the same thought process many years ago, like 15 years ago. And at that time, I was broke with 3 jobs, and I was just reading a bunch of books, wishing and dreaming that I too would have a real estate investment portfolio. But at that time, I would be thinking like, man, I don't have $300,000. How am I supposed to buy that property? Right. So that was the average price of, a multifamily in the area that I was living in at that time. And even though it was a hope and a wish and a dream, what I didn't understand was the concepts of money and banking and how it works. And more importantly, I didn't understand OPM, which is other people's money. There's a lot of O's, OPM, OPE, OPO, right? And OPP. You know what OPP? Yeah, you know me. Yeah. Anyway, so did I just date myself? So there's a lot of different thoughts, misconceptions, all these different ideas about getting started in real estate. And the reality is you don't need any of that to get started. Okay. You really don't. And I say this because I have my own personal experience where I got started in real estate, broke, in debt, a lot of knowledge, but stuck in fear about making my first offer. That tends to be one of the biggest fears about getting started in real estate. And I have a question for you, whether you're live or if you're watching the replay. If you are interested in starting in real estate, like starting, but you have questions or you're unsure, post it in the comments, or you do one of those little emojis or a GIF, like raising your hand, like, hey, I'm interested. I'm just curious. I'd love to know if you are interested. So getting started, a lot of people think, like, for example, that you need to be a real estate agent. That's not true. You don't need to have a license to buy property. Anybody can go out and buy real estate. For example, if there is a buyer in China who wants to buy property in the United States, in Texas, let's say. They don't have to become a real estate agent to buy that property, right? They don't even have to use their own funds, like personally their own funds. They could form a company, they could raise capital, they get other investors involved. Now, I'm not going to get too deep into the details here because that's something, if you're interested in, you can dive more deep into it. But I want to tell you this. It's a quote, it's a phrase, it's a tattoo. It's a mental tattoo. It's this: you do not lack money, you lack strategy. I'm going to say it again. You do not lack money, you lack strategy. And the strategy part is what is a little bit of knowledge and application of the knowledge. Because when you have the knowledge of how to do a real estate deal with none of your own money, then you can now implement a strategy that helps you to do a real estate deal and profit on the deal and get cash on the deal. And there's many different ways to do that. You know, I was talking to a gentleman yesterday that I met. He's actually in one of my groups, and he made a great point. He said that he told me a story. He's a great storyteller, and one of the stories he told me was how he became a bagel broker. A bagel broker, okay? Bagel broker as in bagels the foods, okay? And one day he was like down and out. He was broke. He was looking for something to do, and it just came to him. He was in the market, and he said, no, actually, he was talking to a baker, and he's like, hey, how much are these bagels wholesale, right? How much are they at wholesale? I think he said like 9 cents or 19 cents, something like that, at wholesale. And then he went to the local supermarket, and he said, how much do you buy bagels for at your wholesale price? And I think the guy said like 25 or 30 cents a bagel or something like that, okay? So it was just like a nickel and a dime, right, on each one of the profit margin. So instantly what he did is at the supermarket, he negotiated a rate from the market to get them to buy bagels from him at a discount, because he asked them what they were charging already, what they were already paying. So he came in, I think, 5 cents lower. And what he did was he got basically an order from the supermarket, the grocery store, for the bagels 5 cents cheaper than what they were doing. Got the order and goes back to the manufacturer of the bagels and places an order to fulfill it. And in between each the profit margin on every bagel that he sold was 11 cents. So now you're probably thinking, well, what's that, Nathan? 11 cents. But you do the math. You add that up times dozens and dozens and dozens of bagels every day, right? And so that's how he became a bagel broker. And he did that with like no experience, right? He did that with not having a bagel business, right? Now, don't get me wrong. This was years ago, but the moral of the story is if you want something bad enough, you're going to go out there and do it. And also that the bagel business, real estate can almost be like that in a way. And that is, you are a collaborator. If you don't have the funds to get started in real estate, to buy a big property, to flip a property, whatever, you become a collaborator, okay? The collaboration is where you are now bringing people together to get the deal done. Real estate is like an issue of a problem. There's always a bunch of problems in real estate. And I'm going to give you some problems off the top of your head. Broken windows, squeaky doors, broken appliances, leaky roof, broken foundation, burnt out kitchen from a fire, right? I could go on and on. So real estate has property problems, but also there is even more problems in real estate when there's people who own the property, such as maybe they didn't make their mortgage payment, maybe they didn't make their tax payment, maybe there's health issues and they got behind on their rent, or they're living in it and renting and not paying the landlord. Guys, there is multiple layers of real estate problems. And when you are in real estate, you have to understand this. As a real estate collaborator, you are a problem solutionist. You're solving problems. And that's how you have to envision your career in real estate investing. So it's not about, do I have money to buy the property? Heck, you may not buy the property up in the beginning. You may not buy properties. Most people think that way. Like immediately they say, I want to be in real estate. I can make a lot of money. Yes, that's true. You can make a lot of money in real estate. You can make thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Years ago, when I first got started, I'm just going to tell you a short story here. when I first got started in real estate, I would close a deal that would be an entire year of someone's salary. So I'll give you an example. One of these deals that I did, I'll never forget it. We bought the property for $10,000. I ended up coming out of pocket $11,000 because I had to pay someone to find me the deal. I paid them $1,000. So I'm all in for $11,000, okay? Out of my pocket. Listen closely. $11,000. I turned around, found someone who had another problem to buy that property because their problem was they needed to move quickly. They came in and they bought the property for like I want to say $43,000 more. I could go back. This is a number of years ago, but let's just say it was like $43,000. And so after closing costs and after also my, what I call deal hunter, who found the buyer, brought them together. I'm going to do the math right now. I'm going to say that if I remember correctly, I thought it was 42. I think we had it listed for $46,000. And then we dropped the price and all that. So let's say 42,000 is what we closed on, minus the 11,000. I'll tell you right now, exactly. We sold it for 43,000. Okay, we sold it for 43 because I remember this number very clearly. 43,000 minus 11,000 after all closing costs, after everything was done. Okay, on closing, I made $32,000. After I paid for closing costs and my deal hunter, that ended up being $3,500. I walked away with $28,500 on one deal. When that happened, and I told someone about that, I remember this person calling me and they said, "Oh, what you doing? What you up to? Blah blah blah. Oh yeah, how's that real estate for you?" I said, "Oh man, cool. We just had a really score of a deal. We made around $29,000. I think I said around $30,000." And they said, "What?" He's like, "Man, that's what I make all year." And when I heard that, and now I'm just recalculating, I'm going back in history because I kind of grew up with this person and spent a number of years with this person. And I said, wow, what I know and what I did was put something together and made a bunch of money that could replace someone's salary for an entire year. What I did in just like, I say less than 2 months. It took us probably like 2 months. I'm going to say 6 weeks to do that entire deal and make $28,000. That's what real estate can do. Now, in that deal particularly, I did put in $11,000 to buy the property. Yes. Can you do that with none of your own money? Absolutely. There's a way to do it. You may not know it right now, but I want to show you a tool that you can start using, or at least get familiar with start using. And just this concept is that you need to start thinking bigger outside of yourself. You can't say, I want to be in real estate, but I only have X number of dollars in my checking account. I only have X number of dollars in my IRA. I only have X number of dollars in my savings. Oh, let me think about my rich uncle, Jerome, right? Is it Jerome? Who's the guy of the federal? Who's guy who's pumping out all the stimulus money? No, you don't need a rich uncle, right? You don't need a family member or a friend. Hey, your family member or friends might invest with you, but don't talk to them right now. Save them for later on in life. Just love them. Don't pick them as business partners. So what you need to do is you need to think about, instead of connecting to your own personal finance, you need to really think about your network, because your network will equal your net worth. The people that you surround yourself with most of the time will actually be, pretty much the way you talk, dress, where you shop, all that kind of stuff, right? So if you hang out with people, right? If you hang out with people who are always less educated, you're going to end up being less educated mentally. I'll give you an example. There was a time when I was learning about real estate, right? And I was learning about real estate and I was getting all this knowledge and I was really going, but I was still hanging out with a group of people that were into wrestling, okay? And all these guys did was care about wrestling. By the way, if some of you, my friends, are watching this from years ago, if this is nothing bad. But what I would do is I would hang out with them often, and it was just because I was in transition in life, but yet I was reading books about real estate. This is like 17 years old, 18 years old, And we would film. I was the camera guy. I was always been into filming stuff. I was the camera guy. These guys were jumping off ladders and all this stuff. And literally, while they were talking mostly about real estate, they were talking about wrestling, and they would have all these kind of conversations and talk about what's on TV and all this stuff. I was thinking real estate. It didn't last too long, but the reality is I moved on. I went to another place. I said, you know what? I can't hang out with these people anymore not because they're bad people, just because it's not where I'm aligned. And you have to get comfortable with that. You have to understand that as you grow your life, as you grow your real estate business, your network has to change. Love your family and your friends, but pick your peers. Pick the people that you're going to grow with. Pick the people that you're going to associate with. Pick your business partners, right? They should be on a higher level than you and be able to network with those people. Okay, so I digress there, but I just wanted to make that point because as you start doing OPM, a lot of people think like, well, I don't know rich people. I don't have any, you don't know my family, Nathan. You don't know where I come from. Yeah, well, that's okay. I don't talk to half of my family, but the reality is I'm not asking my family for money, right? I'm not over there asking aunts, uncles, cousins. I'm not doing that. And I don't even recommend that because the reality is there's kind of like this misnomer that people think, oh, I'm going to start in real estate. I have an aunt or an uncle who's in Florida and maybe I'm going to start there because they're over there. No. Don't even do that. Don't invest in a place or don't get started in real estate because you have someone who's in the business. The reality is after all the 15 years that I've been doing this business, some people always say that. I say, hey, where are you going to pick your market? Where are you going to get started investing? And you know what they always tell me? Oh, I think I'm going to start over in Texas because I got a brother-in-law over there who's in Texas or a sister or whatever, a brother, an aunt, an uncle, whoever, a cousin. And you know what? They never end up doing business with whoever sibling relative is in that area. So don't think like that. Okay? Leave your family and your friends out. Go on your own trail. Make new friends. Okay? Make new people. Build your network. Because when you build your network, you can expand your net worth. Okay? And that's really important. Okay? So moving forward, there's a great book out there by Robert Kiyosaki. And it's in the lineup of Rich Dad Education, the lineup of Robert Kiyosaki. You should check it out. It's called OPM, Other People's Money. There's a lot of different books out there that talk about this subject, but I would recommend you pick up that particular book by Robert Kiyosaki, OPM, because it's probably one of the best ones. If you've read Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, I highly recommend that if you're even considering real estate investing. But OPM is a great book to consider and read if you want to expand more on this topic more in detail. Otherwise, you can probably get over to our Facebook group and dive more closer and spend more time with me that way. And then I also do trainings on this stuff too. So one of the things is you don't want to connect your real estate investing career to your own personal bank account. After all, real estate investing is a business. And with business, you can raise funds for a business. Let me just give you some perspective here. If you think about some of the biggest companies, think about the ones that started out with nothing or they started in a garage like Mattel, Apple, and a whole bunch of other ones I can't even think of right now, Microsoft, right? They all started really small. And the reality is they didn't take a bunch of their own money and pump it into the business. They didn't come from super wealthy families. And it's actually better if you don't come from a super wealthy family, very affluent people, because if you're super affluent or you come from affluent, maybe you don't work as hard. What's really important in business is a good work ethic. That's really important. So what some of these founders of these big companies would do is, what do? They raise funds. If you've never seen the movie, I think it's with Ashton Kutcher about Steve Jobs. There's a moment there where Wozniak and Jobs are there, and their investor comes in and invests in the company and takes a piece of the pie, right? That's part of business. What I see happen to a lot of real estate investors is they want to try to eat the whole pie. They invest all their own money and they eat their own pie. Heck, some real estate investors, when they're getting started, they actually fund all the business expenses with their own money and they don't even get paid back. They don't even do a loan to their own business. It's almost like a gift. They just gifted money to their own company. No. If you are putting money into your real estate investing business, okay, let's just say you're just getting started. All the money that you spend to start up your company, buy software, buy a website, whatever kind of money you're spending on your real estate investing business and getting it started, that money is a loan to the company. You personally lent money to your own company. Guess what? Loans are meant to I guess how loans work. They're supposed to be paid back, and even with interest, right? So you can actually personally lend money to your own company and get paid back from your company once there's a profit, whatever the terms are. Guess who runs the company? You do. So you get to state the terms and what's coming back to you with interest. Did you hear what I just said? That means you can lend money. Okay, there was a time, let me give you an example. This company I started and it's no longer in business. But there was a time in one of my companies, I launched this company 9 years ago. I started the company with $10,000 of my own money. I put it into the company. I put it as a loan to my own company. I charged myself a very expensive interest rate, 10%. That's a high interest rate, but it's okay. It was coming back to me. So I was the lender to my own company, 10%. Then as that business started making money, well, guess who started demanding their money back? The lender, who was me. So therefore, I was getting paid back with interest for my money. Now listen, you're going to want to talk to a CPA, your financial advisor, on how to set that all up. But it's very doable. This is called like a capital, seed capital, right? Seed capital, and you can provide your own seed capital, okay? Also, you can have other people provide seed capital for your company. This doesn't mean it has to be your money. It could be anybody's money. And so what do you give in return? Now, if you're doing it yourself, you're going to get the money back yourself. It's your own loan to yourself. So you decide what you want to do, if you want to charge your company interest, whatever you want to do. However, if you're getting money from other people, then you negotiate what that's going to be. You say what's this going to be like? Is it a simple interest loan? Is it just a direct loan? Is it a piece of equity? Let me ask you this. Do you watch Shark Tank? Are you familiar with Shark Tank? If you are, let me know. Put Shark Tank fan in the comments below, or maybe a shark emoji, whatever you want to do. I'm just curious. Do you like Shark Tank? I love Shark Tank. I remember how when it came out, my buddy was like, "Hey, you should check that out. You should be on Shark Tank." I was like, "Really?" So I love the show. I've watched it ever since. And if you're very familiar with the show Shark Tank, the way it works is people are looking for capital, venture capital, to either start. Well, the sharks don't really like starting companies unless it's a patent with an idea, but they always care about sales, right? So if you're looking at that model, that's where business owners, in this case, business owners, are looking for capital for their business, for a slice of the pie, okay, for equity stake. So that is what we're talking about here. A lot of people go into to real estate invest as this solopreneur, thinking they're going to have to close all these deals all by themselves and they're going to make all this profit. The better way is to build businesses that you can bring partners on board. It holds you, one, more accountable, and two, it helps you to grow faster. Now, listen, this may not be for the startup investor, and there's a lot more details to this process. And that's something we can cover if you follow along. By the way, you should be following along. You can get over to our YouTube channel. You can smash the subscribe button. That way you can be updated on more trainings that we do. Also, the CRUSHIN COVID show, which is probably your best favorite show. I mean, just under Oprah, right? I mean, this is like Oprah, and this is the CRUSHIN COVID show, right? I'm just kidding. Oprah's phenomenal. And then I lost track. I was talking about Oprah, and then I started thinking about Michelle Obama, and I'm gone. I can't even remember what I'm thinking about now. So one of the things that I was sharing is that you need to expand your thought processes and then start thinking outside the box and not use your own funds all the time. This is true also in real estate. You can actually have a real estate deal that you partner up with, also known as a JV or joint venture. You can joint venture on property deals and get deals done and make money on at the same time. All right, so I'm going to show you a tool. I know I've been chatting a lot and we talked about a bunch of different things. And here I was telling you I didn't have a lot to cover today because I've been a little all over the place. But you know me, I could yap it. I can yap it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a tool that I use in my life, in my business. It's almost something I can't live without. I love it so much. I love it so much. And it's called Slidebean. Slidebean.com. All right, so let me give you an overview of what this is. Hold on, let me just clear this up. Slidebean.com. I'm going to clear a few things out just so I can see y'all. And by the way, if you have questions about this as I go through it, just throw it in the comments. Not a problem. All right, so what Slidebean is basically creates, as you can see, powerful presentations. It's a presentation software. And you're probably thinking, Nathan, I have, what is it, Microsoft what? PowerPoint. I have PowerPoint. Nathan, I have Keynote. Why do I need Slidebeans, right? That's because when you open up your PowerPoint or your Keynote, what do they give you? A blank canvas, right? And you got to fill it in. And I know what it's like, especially even as an author, I know what it's like sometimes to hit a blank page and you're like, what the heck do I write here? It's the same sometimes when you hit a Keynote or a PowerPoint, you're thinking like, well, what do I put in here? What is something that I don't know what to do? So what Slidebean does is it helps you organize your thoughts and your slide deck when you're raising funds. Now, guys, they have a bunch of templates to help you start up. Here's the cool part. The cool part about what Slidebean can do, they can actually give you templates for even startup companies. They'll actually give you the real pitch deck to Uber, to YouTube, to Airbnb, right? You will actually get those same templates that they've used to pitch their investors. Remember, like I was talking about earlier, a lot of the biggest companies, they didn't pour all this personal money into it. No. They've raised money. So there is a bunch of different companies. This is great for startups. So if you plan on doing your first real estate investing company, you could do it as a startup deck. You can do it for existing business. Look here. You see here, real estate business plan. You see that? So if you're raising money for your business and your real estate plan, you're going to need one of these. You're going to need a pitch deck. There's one specifically. It might be a little bit more in the templates. Let me see if I can dive into this one right here. They have some where they're right here. A budget proposal, grant proposals. If you're raising money for your business, if you're looking for grants, a lot of people do that for real estate grants. There's a lot of that available. Here's the real estate business plan template. I'll open that one in a second. There's a few real estate ones in here. Just want to see. I don't know if it's exactly all in this section. Business proposal, board meeting, business plan, budget plans, which are great. There's a real estate prospectus as well. Let me see if I can click into this one. Real estate business plan, and they kind of map it out for you, and they start giving you the ideas of what you need in the template. And all you can do, really easily, you can simply fill in the template, the text, if you need to, and then from there you can launch it. It shows you everything that comes in the template. And there's a whole bunch more, by the way. If you need a budget proposal, if you need a business plan, if you need a business plan for if you're raising capital, I don't know if you knew this, but for commercial real estate, much bigger deals, you need basically a business plan and you need an executive summary, especially when you're doing bigger real estate. And it's kind of interesting because for the deal that I'm doing here of the 26 apartments and whatnot, and the mixed use commercial space, was going to the banks and they're like, oh, do you have your business plan? And I was like, oh, you guys require that here too? Because I'm familiar with that in the United States, but I wasn't familiar with their process here for commercial real estate. So I hired a Portuguese guy to write it in Portuguese because there's no way I'm going to write that, right? So what I did was I consolidated all the information that he needed, and then I gave it to the guy, and he wrote it. So boom, done. Delegation, very important. So this with Slidebean, it gives you what you need to put in your slide deck, your pitch deck, so that you can have a successful presentation. Now, the cool thing is, I always like to show you this, guys. You can start off for free and have a free account and start building your pitch deck. Okay. However, if you want some of the premium templates and you're looking to have more templates to choose from, like some of the ones I just showed you, you're probably going to want to get the premium package. This is the plan that I have, and I think it just auto renews annually. And so that's what I have, and it is phenomenal because you could actually do so much more, not only just templates, but you can get the templates, you can insights, you can see how many people have viewed it. So guys, when I raise money for bigger real estate deals, I use the link to the presentation, okay, to the PowerPoint pitch deck. I use that link and I can track how many people have opened it, when they've seen it, and all that kind of stuff. It's really important. I can do custom branding as well, and also team collaboration, okay, which is really important for me because when I build a pitch deck, I have my assistant help me out with graphics and image and all that kind of stuff. All right, so that makes sense, guys. So it's called Slidebean. And if you are serious about being in real estate and using OPM in your real estate business, I would highly recommend using this, even the free version to get started. Listen, it's way better than using PowerPoint. Years ago, I used to use PowerPoint. Well, not PowerPoint. I used to use Keynote. Sorry, I don't use PowerPoint. And I used to use those tools. And man, it would just like keep thumping at my head. But thank God Slidebean came around and helped me out with that. So it's a really great tool. I use it on a regular basis and I highly recommend it. I'm actually going to be doing a full training here coming up in the next few weeks, pretty much going into the month of June, about how to raise private money for your real estate deals. And I call it Fund Your Future. It's a Fund Your Future training program where I help real estate investors fund their deals. I just got a new client yesterday that came on board into one of my coaching program to help them fund real estate. And what I love doing about that is I love helping people raise money because they literally didn't think it was possible. And I actually do it with them. I enjoy doing it with them because I get to raise the funds. Guys, I've raised millions and millions of dollars in real estate over the past 10 years. And it's fun to do it for your own deals, but it's so much more rewarding in life when one of my clients does it. And they're like super shocked. I just remember, I think it was just a few months ago before COVID, one of my clients, raised money. Well, I did the call first, and then I think it was like a day or two later, I get a text message. I just raised more money. And I was like, awesome, right? And that is a continual thing that happens on a regular basis. Just 2 weeks, about 3 weeks ago, I'm forgetting the dates now. What are we in, April or May? Oh, we're in May. So yeah, so it was January, February, it was March, the end of March, beginning of April. Another one of my clients that I've helped raise money. First, I did the whole presentation. I did 100% of it, and I did the money raise. And then on the next one, he did the next one, and he raised $3 million. Well, a verbal $3 million. It was a verbal. He ended up using $600,000 of the $3 million. The friend had $3 million available, committed $1 million to my client, and ended up using $600,000 so far of that 1 million. So out of the conversation, we were able to find out that he got 3 million available out of the lender, out of the investor, okay, out of the partner, investor, lender, right? And then 1 million became available to my client. And then so far, my client has used 600,000 of that money. So isn't that great? Those are the really cool things. So, and by the way, my client is, stepping into some bigger pieces of real estate, but also hasn't really had this experience of raising money before, but he watched how I did it. I did it for him. I showed him how to do it. And then that's it. I taught him how to fish. Okay. I didn't just give him the fish. I didn't just say, hey, here's a lender, right? No, I taught him how to fish. And then he went out and does it himself now. Now he feels like a pro, right? Now he calls me every once in a while and, we go over some things, but now he feels like more like a pro. All right, so guys, I wanted to share that with you today. I know this was kind of like a mixed COVID daily, but heck, anything goes here. If this was helpful, let me know in the comments or give this video a like. That way I know. And I'm going to see you tomorrow. I will see you tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to do another Crushing COVID, God willing, everything goes well. I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Let's kick it off and say sayonara with a little bit of music, right? Why not?
You got me down.